Welcome back to Julie's Wreath Boutique, and we have another wreath recipe for you tonight. This one is super duper simple, and you're going to be blown away by how easy this is to make and how quickly you can get it done. So perfect for beginners, perfect for people who've been crafting for years, but let's make a beautiful wreath together. All right, so let's get started. We're going to cut our poly burlap, and we're going to do it at 2 different sizes. So I want you to pause to read this caption. This is going to tell you everything you need because we're cutting them at different sizes, and I want to make sure that you get everything you need. So what we're doing is we're cutting 6 pieces of 3 different colors at 15 inches, and then 6 pieces of 2 different colors at 12 inches each. So make sure you pause and read. So what we're going to do is we're going to curl them in just a little bit and gather. Usually we would have it going on the upside, but we're going to flip it and we're going to put it in our Pro Bow, the hand 4-in-1 to kind of hold us, all right? So you're going to gather it. Yes, I've showed you how to do this. And usually I would do it the curl side up, but we're not going to do that this time. We're going to add 3 pieces of mesh and we're going to flip them over and we're going to put them in our bow maker. It just makes it easier to hold, in my opinion. You can always use a chip clip. That is a Dollar Tree wreath frame. Now you can use a 16-inch wreath frame, a 14-inch wreath frame, whatever you want to use, but I'm using a Dollar Tree. And we're going to be only working on that second bar. And we're going to be adding these bundles of mesh in between on the brackets, okay? So we're going to grab all 3 of these pieces of mesh together, and how pretty are these colors together? They're turquoise and pink and green, and I think they're so beautiful. So if you want to get the same mesh, check out the description box below. I've got links for you to go to the wreath shop and get what you need. So I'm going to go through this process one more time. Remember, we're going to flip it over. You're going to curl it on each side a little bit, then you're going to gather, and then we're going to flip, all right? And then we're going to put it so that our colors are like peeking through in a different way. So I'm kind of doing the crisscross action here. So make sure you do that. But this is super, super easy. I actually made this tutorial over on Amazon Live. So if this looks a little familiar, here's a little condensed version of that tutorial for you. So I appreciate when you guys always come over to Amazon Live and watch me. And if you like to watch live crafting and you guys helped me with the decision on which ribbons, make sure to check me out over there. I'll leave the link for Amazon Lives in the description box. So again, we're going to do this on each of the brackets. That's why you need 6 pieces of 15 inches each on each of these colors, and that's what you do. Now looking at it, it looks pretty good, doesn't it? Pretty simple and pretty straightforward. But we're going to add a new little aspect to this wreath. We're going to take 2 of the colors, and for me that is the pink and the green. I'm all about those color combinations. We're going to do the same technique, but it's going to be a little bit smaller, but we're not going to flip these over. We're going to let the curl side stay up, and then I'm going to do that to the pink. And then what we're going to do is we picked out the ribbon. So over on Amazon Live, I asked you guys which color ribbons. I had these leftover ribbons, but I don't know that you can even get these anymore, but I will check for you. But I was just trying to use what I had. So I want to encourage you to do this. You're going to get 6 of these 2.5-inch ribbons, and then you're going to dovetail them. And if you don't know how to dovetail them, you're simply going to stack them together, and then you're going to fold it over and cut an angle. See, that's easy, isn't it? So, or you can do one by itself and do what I just showed you how to do. Then we picked out another color of this pink and white. I think this is called a Swiss dot or something like this. We're cutting these all out at 10 inches, all right? And then we have a complementary ribbon to go as well. Everything was cut at 10 inches and we dovetailed everything. So if they're a little bit off, that's okay. So we're going to start with our printed ribbon, and then we're going to do our dot, and then we're going to add our 1.5-inch. Now all this ribbon does have wire in it. It helps make the wreath really stand out. I'm going to just like play with the little ribbon, and then we're going to go in between the little poofs of mesh that we did at the cross bracket. We're going to stay on bar 2, but now we're going to go in between those sections, okay? So all you need is 6 of these. So we did 6 bundles of the 15-inch times 3 different mesh, and then we did 6 of the different colors, the green and the pink, So that's 12 pieces. Okay, I'm getting really confused. I don't want to confuse you anymore. But go back to the very beginning where I had that piece. It'll help you. And then you're going to just add the little ribbons. Then we don't have to go back and add this. This is a really an easy wreath to make because it's all done together. I don't have to go back and figure out what to do. It's all together, and that's what I like. Keep it simple, right? So if you love wreaths and you love crafting, I have an email list, and guess what? I'll probably be giving this wreath away. So if you want a chance to earn or win a wreath, you have to be on my email list because we can't do it on social media because we have too many people trying to pretend that they're Julie, okay? So we can't do that. So the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to use this hello sign. I believe I got this from the Wreath shop a few years ago, but any wooden sign will do. But I am just going to take my little stapler gun here and we're going to add a staple. I love this staple gun. You can get it at Amazon. It was one of my top 10 bestsellers for 2024. So if you want that, make sure to go check out in my description box. Now, I showed you these little popsicle sticks that if you have a sign that's not too deep, then you can add those little sticks to kind of help build up the wood. But for this particular sign, that wouldn't have worked probably unless I cut little pieces. But you see me do it before. I figure out that I had used all my staples, so only one staple got into that hello sign on the end, but that's okay because it's going to fit, right? So here's where I'm doing the adding of the sign. Now I kind of typically do my signs kind of similar every time. And if you're getting tired of seeing it this way, I apologize. But here's the key. You don't want to bring down the sign too far into your wreath. I end up going back and loosening up where the O is and giving it a little bit more room instead of it. I don't want it to look like I'm like pulled it down into the wreath, right? We don't want to smush anything. And I'm just curious, answer this question below. Do your kids or grandkids know how to read cursive? Because I feel like this is a lost art. Is it a lost art? I mean, I don't know. Some schools don't even teach cursive handwriting anymore, but I'm just curious. Half of my kids can read cursive and half of my kids struggle with it. So there you go. But as you can see, I'm untying that side and then we're getting it to where we want it. We're going to just go through and make sure our little ribbons are going to show. So let's get out the 4-in-1 Pro Bow the hand. I have these in my Amazon shop. I'm going to put a piece of wire there and then we are going to dovetail the end because we're not going to have a bunch of tails on this. So we're going to start out with about a 6-inch tail there and we are going to go and do 6-inch loops. So I'm going to do one and I didn't have enough of this ribbon, so we're only going to do 2 loops on each side and we're going to measure them both at the 6-inch mark. Now if you have more ribbon, which you probably do than I did, and you can kind of tell that it's getting a little wrinkled here, but we wanted to use this ribbon because we loved it. So we are going to deal with the little wrinkles. All right, so we're going to cut another 6-inch tail and I'm going to dovetail that one and the rest of that ribbon's going into the trash, sadly. But then we're going to take our little Swiss dot ribbon. Is that right? Am I saying that right? We're going to start off with about a 5.5-inch tail and going to dovetail it and we're going to find the 5-inch mark. Now on this one I do 3 loops on each side. Again, you could do 2 loops. It's really up to you. I just figured I would give it a little bit more of volume to my bow. Now, if you do not have a bow maker, I do teach how to make bows by hand, and you can go watch one of my bow videos here on YouTube. But if you're in the market for a bow maker, this is a great one, and I would highly recommend it. So once we get our 3 loops on each side, we are going to dovetail that end as well. Then we're going to grab our last of our really pretty little ribbon here. It has like little paisleys on it, very spring. I think I made a wreath with this last year. So we're going to dovetail it and then we are going to do about a 4.5-inch tail. And we're going to twist our ribbon so that the wrong side is up. And then I'm finding the 4-inch mark. And I believe we only do 2 loops with this ribbon. And then we're going to call it quits, guys. The ribbon is ready to go after this. I always like to twist my ribbon before I put it down into the two, in between the 2 dowels. I just find that a lot easier. We're going to cut the tail here to match up with the other tail and dovetail that. Now, I'm not going to poof up my bow at this point. I'm going to take it off of the bow maker, and then we're going to poof it up on our wreath as we put it on. So you're going to take your 2 wires that you have, and you're going to crisscross them and pull down so that you can secure everything so nicely and it's stacked so nicely. But make sure you get on my email list. I wanted to tell you about that. If you haven't heard about Julie's Crafting Boutique, I'd love to show you more down in the description box as well. That's a different experience. As far as me teaching you how to craft, well, this is the end of the tutorial. And if you got this far, do me a favor, leave me hello in the comments, okay? Say hello, and I'll know you watched till the end. But this is where you're going to poof out your bow. I just find it a little bit easier to do it than doing it before we get it on. And I just take my fingers and just go between the loops. And then I think this is so cute. This was really an easy wreath to make. I would love to see it. I think this would be cute with little Easter eggs on it or different flowers. So here's a great wreath recipe for you. I hope you like this kind of new trend that we're doing this year on Julie's Wreath Boutique because, you know, everybody needs a good recipe, and why not a wreath recipe? But I think she turned out super duper cute. I would love to know what you think down in the comments. I hope this video inspired you to make your own wreath with any type of colors and any kind of sign. So make sure to leave me a hello in the comments to let me know you watched the whole video, and we'll see you next week here on Julie's Wreath Boutique. Happy crafting, friends!